What goes wrong on a hard drive? Some of the most common issues related to hard drive failure are as follows: bad sectors, read and write head tracking issues, sudden power failures during file processes, software failures, virus damage, and malfunctioning antivirus software. File corruption errors are often preceded by the sudden system shutdown, or the blue screen of death, or a program crashes. This prevents the hard drive from carrying out a requested process properly, which causes localized file damage. Because some physical hard drive issues can cause file corruption, you may also notice clicking sounds, excessive vibration, and other physical symptoms. Immediately shut down any hard drive if you recognize symptoms of a mechanical or electronic failure. Many failures are mechanical in nature, and that means recovering data is impossible until the drive has been physically repaired. When a drive has failed mechanically, the first step is to source out parts. Once the parts are obtained, repair begins. Adapters, read and write heads, and other components that have stopped functioning are replaced inside our cleanroom, which keeps dust and other foreign objects out of the open drive. Mechanical parts are often the culprit, but electronics can fail too. The mainboard, for example, can experience issues like faulty soldering or damage from power surge that fries chips or melts contacts. Problems like these are fixed using a stereoscopic microscope and specialized soldering equipment, a delicate and time-consuming process made more challenging by the small size of modern hardware. The service area is part of the disk drive that is inaccessible to the user but is critical for the drive to function. The service area has things like bad sector block lists, the voltages required to read and to write, the firmware, etc. The service area can only be accessed and analyzed using specialized, sophisticated equipment. Considerable experience and expertise is required to repair or bypass the service issues. Once the drive is operational, the next step is to image the drive. An exact sector-by-sector copy is made, or at least attempted. Bad sectors can interrupt this process. So even after a hard drive has been mechanically repaired, it then has to go through a long and tedious software scan that makes hundreds of passes and can take hours just to recover the smallest amount of data. So the more data that you need to recover, the more time it takes, and there is no quick fix or rushing this process. Even if such in-depth recovery is not possible, lab techs can usually find and retrieve individual files by searching through a drive's data after it's been imaged. The files returned to the customer may be missing their original file name and may not be organized, but at least they can be returned otherwise intact. Modern solid-state drives are even more difficult to work with, because, unlike a flash drive which may contain just 1 or 2 chips, an SSD may contain up to 16 chips, each of which has separate dumps across which the data can be split. Technicians must analyze the data from each dump and piece it together like a digital jigsaw puzzle. Matters are made more difficult by automatic drive encryption features found on many SSDs, which, though they can provide extra security, make normal data recovery impossible. Hopefully this helps explain why data recovery can be a very time-consuming and lengthy process, which requires experienced technicians as well as very sophisticated equipment.